Arrays and types of arrays. First of all, what is an array? Array is nothing but collection of similar data type elements, or else you can say collection of homogeneous elements. Here in array, the index starts with 0. The index starts with 0. And here arrays can be either fixed length or dynamic. Arrays can be either fixed length or dynamic. Fixed length means here we are going to give the size of an array. That is how many elements we are going to put into the array. We are going to mention the size of an array. And in the dynamic array, we are not going to mention the size of an array. And in arrays, we have three types of arrays. It supports three types. One is single dimensional, second one is multi-dimensional, and third one is jagged array. In single dimensional is nothing but collection of elements in a single row or single column. We call it as single dimensional array. And in multi-dimensional array, collection of multiple rows and multiple columns. Collection of elements in multiple rows and multiple columns. And in multi-dimensional, each and every row must and should have same number of columns, respective columns. And third one is jagged array, or you can call it as array of array. It is nothing but here also collection of elements in multiple rows and multiple columns. But here in jagged array, each and every row will have irrespective number of columns. Each and every row will have irrespective number of columns. So this is about array and types of arrays. Initialization of array. How do we initialization of array? Here data type, size. It is similar to variable initial. Suppose variable, you are going to initialize data type and variable name. For array, you are going to mention data type. After data type, you have to mention the size and some array name equal to new data type. So this is how you are going to declare an array. Means initialization of array. After initialization, you have to assign the value. If you leave like this without mentioning the size, this is called dynamic. Fixed length array means int some array name equal to new int. Here you are going to mention the size. That is 5 is nothing but number of elements you have to put it in the array. This is called fixed length array. This is dynamic and fixed length. After declaration of array, you have to assign the values. So you can assign the values directly, or you can assign the values in multiple steps. That is here int data type array name equal to new int. You can directly write down here number of elements. You can write in single line, or based on the index, array name of 0 equal to, you have to mention 1, array name of 1 equal to 2, array of 2 equal to 3. That's it. Here you can't mention array of 3 because here we have given the length as 3. So you have passed only 3. If you give the array of the third element, here what happens? Index out of range exception will occur here. If you don't pass the value here in array of 2, you pass only array of 0 and array of 1, it will take 0 value in the third element. It will get the 0 value. So this is the assignment of fixed length. If it is a dynamic, no need to mention the length here. Directly you can pass the values. This is dynamic and fixed length. So let us see how do we initialize and assign the values for multi-dimensional and as well as jagged array. This is for single dimensional array. This assigning is for. Next, multi-dimensional. Here in multi-dimensional, you are going to keep in the size comma. You are going to keep the comma as the seeing this comma, you can take this as a multi-dimensional array. Equal to new int. Here you can mention the size for rows and columns. That is, if you want 3 rows and 2 columns, you can mention the number of elements 3, 2. If you mention the size, it will be fixed length. If you don't mention, it will be dynamic. So directly you can assign the values here itself, that is 3 rows and 2 columns. 1, 2. This is one row, and this is the other row, and this is the third row. So here we have mentioned 3 rows and 2 columns. These are 3 rows and 2 columns. This is called multi-dimensional array. And next one is jagged array. In the jagged array, you are going to mention the size for rows and as well as columns. Here we have 2 size here. One is for rows and the other is for columns. Int rname equal to new int. Here we are going to mention the size of rows only. We are not going to mention the size of columns, because each and every row will have irrespective number of columns. Here we have in multi-dimensional array respective number of columns. That way we have mentioned rows and as well as column size. But here we are going to mention only row size. Array of 0 equal to new int. Suppose the first row is having 2 elements and the second one we can take like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 columns. Array of 2 equal to new int size here only 1. So this is jagged array. Jagged array, each and every row will have irrespective number of columns, and here we are going to mention only number of row size, not the column size. So these are about the arrays, initialization of arrays and assignment of arrays.